So in the last video, I talked about how to make multiple choice formative assessments within Schoology. This video is for people that have been using Schoology for formative assessment but would like to take it to the next level by integrating Google Drive with that. So your first step will be to make sure that you have the Google Drive app. So I feel like I did that kind of quick, I'm sorry. So you would go to your home page, go to Resources, and this is where you want to go to your apps. And you will see that there's a YouTube, there's Google Drive. So with Google Drive, mine is already installed, but if you ever need to install anything right under there, you can agree to install apps. And you can see they're real easy to get in. So some of us might use Khan Academy if we teach math or do grammar with that, and all you have to do is click on it and they put it right in there for you. The kids might have to approve it, you might have to approve it, but it's a pretty easy step. Now with the Google Drive resources, what we're looking for, your students might have to go through their first time with their email and approve and allow access, but after that it's really easy. So you'll notice my entire drive is here. Every document that I have will become available. I'm fully connected, so now I can go back to my course and I can connect a Google document or a Google slideshow in for my students to work on. So this is very similar to making a copy of an assignment, which we used to have to do with Google. So someone might send you something, you would have to do a copy of, rename it. I feel like Schoology has made this that much easier for us to where the kids don't have to go through all of that. So for most of my writing materials, rather than having the kids handwrite their final documents or share copies of their Google documents with me, I use Schoology to organize that. So you can easily go to Add Assignment, name the assignment. So I'll go back to my Walk to Moons. We are going to be working on our RACES strategy. Restate, answer, cite, explain, and summarize. So I have a document with multiple questions that they're going to practice that skill with. And again, for me, this is a writing formative, where I can see who's not completing those steps necessary for success. So I can still do my due date, my category. Now with my skill, I can create a new rubric. So for me, I might create a RACES rubric. R stands for restate. And later on, when you get there, most of us have our rubrics already laid out. You can just put in the description. But if you want to add, then we have answer. And you can change these blocks also. Say you want to make 0 as an option. You can add in the 0 at the end by just clicking that plus and changing the piece. So the nice thing about the rubric is it will pop up right next to their writing, and you can score their writing with this rubric, and because it's in Schoology, you will have it the entire year. So my students have a writing folder where every writing piece with a rubric is in that folder, and they can look back at quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and look at their rubrics and see where they're improving, where they're lacking, and make some personal goals using that. So you'll notice my writing will be worth 20 points. I can hit create. And then my learning objectives are right down here. Same, you can individually assign if you'd like to make it for more than one person. This is also going to do submissions. So now we need to connect our document. And I'm wondering if I cannot do that. Because I'm using a separate account that is different from the one that is provided by our district. I just realized it might be a little bit different. Usually, this is let me import the file. Let's see how that ends up looking. So then the kids get that. I will go back in on my personal account in just a minute for school and show you what that looks like. This is different because I believe school pays for that. Anyhow, so you have all of these things. You can type in your description, what you want the kids to do, directions, to where it's placed there. So when you go in to create this document, they now have this here. They have the rubric in the directions, and then they also have the document attached to where they can download it. I'm going to actually log out and show you what it looks like in my school account, if you can just give me 1 second, because there we do have the Google Drive integration. Okay, so I went ahead and just paused for a second to get into my personal district account, because I do want to show you what that looks like outside of that. You can always attach the document for the kids and they can upload that in there, but I just believe that this method's a lot easier. So I'm going to go in one more time and show you how that works. So you'll want to, again, add assignment. Title it. And this can be used a number of ways. So notice the difference here. On my previous screen, I didn't have the assign from app function, but when we go in to our district, it does allow us here. So I can easily go to my Google Drive assignments. I can attach a document. So last week the students got to type their favorite journal, so I can just go ahead and throw that in so you can see. Set my due date. Set my point value. Here you can see I have classwork, homework, test, quiz. I'm going to leave it ungraded since this is my actual class. And here you can see all the different rubrics I have. So I have claim, evidence, reasoning, races, which I just showed you, argument essay, theme paragraph, travel, walk 2 moons, Blackberry Pi. So every rubric I'm going to use I have loaded, and you can keep those forever. They always come up. So then when I create that account or that assignment, it'll pop up right down here. The kids will click in and it will assign them their, right here you'll see it'll assign them their Google Doc. And it's nice because when they submit it, you can see everything that each child has typed. Okay? So, and it also gives them their rubrics so they can assess themselves without needing extra paper before they submit it. Just a nice way to organize all their writing. So if you'll notice, my students recently did do this journal edition. And so I have these students that have not turned it in yet. I have these students that have submitted. And so I can go ahead, look through their journal, read it, and then score them up here. The journal I did not attach a rubric with, just because that's more of a free write system. In another of my classes, this is where we have the writing folder. So they can go through, they can see quarter 1 essay, quarter 2 essay, quarter 3 essay. So I'd like to show you what that looks like, just because I think this is the best way to organize writing portfolios. The students get their prompt, they get their rubric, they self-assess, they peer assess. Then when they submit, I have their essays here. And it's awesome because I can click on this rubric and the rubric goes side by side. So as I'm grading her introduction, I can grade her introduction here, click it, and go. And it's super efficient, super fast. And when you have parent-teacher conferences and you're looking and you're trying to explain to parents why students are scoring the way they're scoring, you have a rubric right next to their writing that does not disappear. So this writing was done in March, but at the same time in that same folder, I have writing that was done in September. So it's a really nice way for kids to see how they have grown, what they've done right, wrong, and where they're coming as writers. Okay? So the Google Drive function is another way to assess if you're not looking to just do multiple choice and short answer. I was hoping that I had a Google PowerPoint embedded in. I believe I do. I'm not seeing it right now. There's also where you can add in Google PowerPoints and students can access those, or Google Slides, excuse me, and then it's a lot easier than to assess those. So for my next unit, they'll be looking at vocab, so I will attach this vocabulary and Walk Two Moons to the assignment, and they'll do a Frayer model, but they can do it on the computer. So their words, synonym, antonym, sentence, picture, and it just gives them a little bit more of a tracking to where we're not needing to carry around notebooks as much. The kids can access these from their phones. They download the Slides and Drive apps. So just really being more flexible with the learning process and giving us an easier method to assess.